You're not supposed to vote. You're not supposed to be here. So why do you vote? That's what Jake Tapper just said out loud on CNN. So sit with that for a moment. See, the machine cracked so hard, even Tapper blurted the question Democrats spent years smothering. And wait until you see the Minnesota fraud photo tying this racket straight to Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. We're talking about $998 per day, jail time, and deportation. That DHS warning means the Trump administration finally put teeth behind the law. And take a look at the contrast with what Barack Obama said on live television, telling undocumented people that they can't stop you from voting. And then watch Caroline Leavitt torch the benefit scam right to a reporter's face. You and I paid for this racket, while Democrats like Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, and Zoran Mandami wrapped it in fake morality. This is not paperwork. This is sovereignty, elections, and who this country actually belongs to. You see, Jake Tapper finally asked a question that millions of Americans asked years ago. And it got me thinking about another thing modern life quietly steals. I'm talking about recovery. MedBed hack, it starts right there. And think about the last time you felt genuinely recovered. Jonathan Otto and Red Life built this around a cellular energy focus because mitochondria lose their right frequencies of light and the right the right frequencies of light and the right electromagnetic environment. That means less energy production, slower recovery, slower repair. Now, MedBed hack combines red light therapy and PEMF. They're two clinically studied wellness technologies using specific wavelengths to boost cellular energy production and support natural repair processes. Gentle electromagnetic pulses help circulation, recovery, and function. I use it daily. I have a red light. I have a PEMF mat. It is part of my biohack routine. Now, with them, you get 10 clinically studied wavelengths. That's what I'm using. Advanced dual chip technology, up to twice the power. It's only 30 minutes a day, right from home. So hit medbedhack.com. It's linked below. Code NNN30 for 30% off bundles, NNN25 for 25% off individual devices. Americans need strength for this fight. Now, Abdul Dahir Ibrahim, he had a removal order since 2004, and he still posed with Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz for photos. See, that's the part they never want us to stare at for too long. It's not random chaos. It's protected chaos. Now hold that thought, because the tweets and video lay out the whole conveyor belt in public. Brian, mute yourself. Thank you. Let's go into it. Jake Tapper drops a reality check right here on CNN of all places.
You're in the country illegally, and you get a letter saying that you can vote, and you know you're not supposed to, not only you're not supposed to vote, you're not supposed to be there. Why do you vote? Like, how do you get registered for a party? Well, some of them I mean, but I just wonder, that's some stupid business.
Yeah. Jake Tapper just sneaking it in. Saying the quiet part out loud on CNN. If you're here illegally, why are you voting? Next, we go back to Barack Obama on camera telling dreamers and undocumented people they can't be stopped from voting. Barack Obama instructed illegal immigrants to go vote in U.S. elections on live television.
If you want to vote and you show up at your polling place, they can't stop you from voting. They can't stop you from voting. If people want to know how to vote, then you can go to iwillvote.com. The fact of the matter is that we give our power away all the time. You know, we tell ourselves, oh, it's hard, it's not going to matter, it's not going to count. And the powers that be, they're counting on us giving our power away.
Many of the millennials, dreamers, undocumented citizens, and I call them citizens because they contribute to this country, are fearful of voting. So if I vote, will immigration know where I live? Will they come for my family and deport us?
Not true.
Okay.
And the reason is, first of all, when you vote, you are a citizen yourself, and there is not a situation where the voting rolls somehow are transferred over and people start investigating, etc. The sanctity of the vote is strictly confidential in terms of who you voted for. If you have a family member who maybe is undocumented, then you have an even greater reason to vote.
This has been a
You have an even greater reason to vote. So when Democrats claim this was never encouraged, Obama's own words tell a very different story. Now watch Caroline Leavitt torch the Biden team scheme to hand illegal aliens taxpayer-funded Medicaid benefits.
To undocumented immigrants, even though it's against the law for them to get these benefits. I know there's some debate about law-free presence.
Do you think that illegal aliens should receive Medicaid benefits? Medicaid benefits that go to the most vulnerable people
I didn't ask about
country.
benefits, and that's a debate.
Medicaid benefits that were designed to help low-income families and Americans in our country.
But they can't receive them.
But what the Biden administration did, Gabe, is they allowed tens of millions of illegal aliens from all over the world
Parole and temporary
to come
protected
into our
status.
country, yes, and they paroled them into the system. And you cover immigration, and you know well, it was a complete abuse of our immigration
but my
system.
question
and they
isn't
slapped a band-aid on these illegals. They called it temporary protective status, and then they allowed those illegals from all over the world to get free benefits. And you know who would like free benefits?
I understand that point,
Hardworking
Caroline.
Americans who work their butts off every day, who are living paycheck to paycheck because of the Biden-induced inflation crisis. And there were higher wait times at hospitals under the Biden administration. We saw these illegals committing crimes all over our country, and they're getting things for free. That is fundamentally unfair, and this administration
but
is not
for
going
the
to
ER.
So Leavitt lays out the cost of American families when illegals get freebies meant for citizens next to see what happens on the ground when ICE arrests a criminal alien and the left-wing activist tries to interfere anyway. This brainwashed idiot gets right in the ICE agent's face, all because Democrats propagandize him that he's some kind of hero protecting his neighbor. It is absolute clown world right now.
What happened?
She's under arrest.
For what?
She's a criminal alien.
For
She
what?
has a warrant, and she's been convicted of crime.
For what? What crime? What crime? What crime? What
She's
crime?
been convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She's not allowed to be here, and she's been deported previously. She doesn't have no
No,
documents.
she hasn't.
Yeah.
Aggravated assault? No, this is not correct.
I have her whole rap sheet. I've been following her forever. Go.
Forever? No, this is, you lying. Come on. This is not true.
Would you like me to
No.
post a rap sheet on your phone? I'll post a rap sheet for you.
Come on, let me see. No, let me see the evidence. No, let me see the evidence.
If you don't
no, let me
back
see
up.
the evidence.
Back up.
Let me see the evidence. Let me see the evidence.
Back up. Back up. You're gonna be
Let me see the
arrested.
evidence.
I said back.
Let me see.
I said back. I said
Bro,
back. I said
why
back.
you hit me, bro?
I said back.
Why'd you hit me?
Bye-bye. So the confrontation says that all Democrats turned basic enforcement into a street-level circus. Now to Minnesota, where a convicted fraudster and illegal alien is photographed cozying up with Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Governor Tim Walz. The man pictured is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. He entered the country in 2000 and has had an order for removal since 2004. He also has a prior conviction in Canada for asylum and welfare fraud. ICE tells Fox News Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, but should have never been eligible. We are going to have more on this in our next hour.
So the Minnesota photos raise the question every voter should be asking: who exactly has this machine been protecting? Next, USCIS sends the opposite message with a recruitment push to crack down on immigration fraud. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has declared war on immigration fraud. Protect the homeland, defend America. So they're ready to fight the fraud instead of feeding it, and DHS takes a step further in the next clip with a blunt warning to illegal aliens: leave now or face fines, jail, and deportation. They just posted this. Our message to illegal aliens is clear: leave now. If you don't, you'll face the consequences, including fines, arrest, and deportation. A warning to self-deport. Our message is clear: fines and penalties. You'll face $998 a day if you receive the final order of removal and stayed. Imprisonment if you fail to self-deport. You may be subject to jail time under U.S. Code Title 8, Section 1325. Deportation, you will be removed from our nation and never allowed to return. Leave today and use the app. And that's the kind of language Americans have been waiting to hear from Washington. Next, Senator Eric Schmidt explains how Democrats abused temporary protected status until temporary became permanent.
TPS was created for emergencies. Democrats turned it into a one-way racket towards permanent mass migration. Here's how the racket works. An emergency creates temporary status. Then the emergency passes, but the status stays. The deadline arrives, but Washington extends it. The voters demand enforcement, but Democrats refuse. Every click moves towards permanence. None moves back towards the law. That is the TPS racket.
The TPS racket that is now being unraveled. So he maps out the scam. Now comes a real-world example. ICE arresting a Southwest flight attendant who DHS says overstayed his visa while activists rushed to defend him. Bill Malusian reports DHS confirms that ICE has arrested a Southwest Airlines flight attendant while at work on July 14th. Lorenzo Thompson, a Jamaican illegal who came to the U.S. on a visa in 2021, set to expire about 6 months later, when he illegally overstayed and failed to depart. DHS says he'll remain in custody pending immigration proceedings. In a statement, Thompson's Dallas-based union acknowledged his arrest and said they've been in communication with his family and legal counsel. The Labor Council for Latin American Advancement is decrying his arrest, claiming he has no criminal record, a valid work visa, and was following every legal step towards citizenship. Sure. That's why you don't overstay your visa, dude. The arrest shows the playbook. And shifting gears now, Congressman Brandon Gill argues the West keeps paying a price when leaders refuse to speak honestly about Islamic immigration. He says we have to be truthful about Islamic immigration because Muslims will take over the West and America.
If you point out what's happening here, if you're truthful about what mass Islamic immigration has done to Great Britain, you're an Islamophobe, you're a racist, you're uncouth or unfit for dignified civilized society, when the impact of that type of suppression of speech means that working class people have been brutally raped and tortured. And that's something that we deal with in the United States on a smaller level, but something we deal with now. If you speak out against mass Islamic immigration, you are denigrated and labeled a racist. And we have to be able to be truthful about these issues and straightforward that whenever you bring in large numbers of people from cultures that hold values that are entirely incompatible with our own, in this case, the belief that Muslims have more dignity and are superior to non-Muslims, that child marriages are okay, that Muslims can essentially subjugate other people, including young children, sexually. If you speak out against that, you're Islamophobic. We have got to get over that because you can see what the price is, and those working class girls are the ones who paid the price here.
There were a few claims made in this video.
So, Gill says the political class shuts down debate by slapping critics with labels. We see it all the time. Next, we move to New York, where Zohran Mamdani invokes Islam and the story of Muhammad to frame his own message on immigration from a New York podium. Dr. Malouf says Zohran Mamdani says America should look into Islam and follow the example of Prophet Muhammad on immigration. Fun fact, he writes, after conquering Mecca, Muhammad deported all the Christians and Jews and banned them from entering the city ever again. To this day, non-Muslims are not allowed to enter Mecca because they are considered dirty and impure. He asks the question, does Mamdani want to turn New York into an all-Islamic state like his prophet did to Mecca?
Think of the freedom from suffering that Buddhism teaches us is only possible if we remove the three poisons of desire, hatred, and ignorance from our daily lives. We need not accept suffering as unchangeable. We need not treat hatred as the natural state. We have the power to set ourselves free. And I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, As for those who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world. Or as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, Islam began as something strange and will go back to being strange. So glad tidings to the strangers. If faith...
And they clap like seals. But leave now, quote, leave now or face the consequences, sits next to Jake Tapper's illegal voting question for a reason. Donald Trump is smashing the fraud pipeline while Barack Obama, Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, and the Democrat machine spent years feeding it with loopholes, benefits, status, games, and propaganda. And now every name attached to that racket is getting dragged into daylight where they can't hide behind the word compassion anymore. Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, and Zoran Mandami need to answer for this machine right now. Put their names in the comments and share this with a person who still swears the border disaster was just bureaucratic sloppiness, and make them watch the receipts. Jake Tapper asking why illegals vote. DHS warning illegals to leave now. Eric Schmick busting the TPS racket. And that photo of Abdul Dahar Ibrahim grinning beside top Minnesota Democrats after sitting under a removal order for 2 decades. See, that's not a glitch. That's a cartel. They imported dependency, subsidized lawbreaking, and screamed racism at every American who caught on. Well, patriots caught on anyway. And now the Trump administration is hitting back with fines, arrests, fraud crackdowns, and actual enforcement. So keep the pressure on. No amnesty spin, no voter integrity retreat, no protection for the people who built this scam. Tapper's on-air crack and that Omar Walz photo are exactly the kind of receipts that YouTube loves to bury, so text the words White House to 844-840-4963. We are credentialed inside the White House, and our nightly reports from inside the building hit your phone ahead of the algorithm, ahead of the crowd, and right where the gatekeepers can't choke them off.